How's it going, guys? All I've been seeing in the media lately is who's better, Connor McDavid or Auston Matthews. Now, this is mainly driven by the Toronto media, but I figured it'd be fun to kind of figure that out today in NHL 19. One thing we can do in NHL that can't happen in real life is actually swap McDavid and Matthews, and my idea basically is to see who does better on the other's team. So the first thing we're actually going to do is just go through a regular season simulation, McDavid on Edmonton, Matthews on Toronto, see how each of them do. Then we'll swap them and see how they do on the other team. And we're not only going to be looking at their individual stats, but also just how the team does. It'd be pretty crazy if like Matthews goes to Edmonton and Edmonton actually wins the Stanley Cup. Early predictions though, I think McDavid will have better individual stats both times, whether he's on Edmonton or Toronto, but whichever player is on Toronto is obviously going to have the better team season, just because Toronto, I think, is the much better team in terms of all the other players around them. So before we start, guys, first I want to show you kind of what the players look like in game. McDavid definitely has the edge in that department. So as you can see here, he's 21 years old, 6'1", 192-pound, left-handed center. And he's 94 overall here with medium franchise potential. Also, you can see he's making $12.5 million the next 8 years. Another thing I want to look at is how much money Matthews asked for at the end of the year. If, say, he only asked for like $6 million, then obviously you take Auston Matthews at half the price of McDavid. But we'll be interested to see how much he asked for, especially if it changes depending on what team he's on. Taking a quick look at his career stats here as well. Obviously, that rookie year, he was out for about half of it. Still put up over a point per game, 48 and 45. Second year, 100 points. Last year, 108. And he's playing on a not too great Edmonton team. Still plus 20 last year. They were like, what, 6th, 7th worst team in the league. The year before, plus 27. His rookie year is actually -1. And then obviously, too, for his individual stats here, you can see they're insane. Like, puck skills, I think every single one is 5 stars except for physical. Insane hands. I think he's the fastest player in the game. Amazing senses, great shot, solid defensively as well there, 91 D awareness, 90 stick check. And even though physical's not 5 stars, it's still not bad at the 4-star rating. So next I'll show you guys Auston Matthews. Obviously has played one less year, but has looked pretty good. So Matthews here, 20-year-old, 6'3", 216-pound center, also shoots left, 89 overall here with high lead potential. And like I mentioned before, 1 year left on his entry-level deal. I'll also take a quick look here at his stats. Rookie year, 69 points in 82 games, nice. The year after, he also had a bit of an injury, but still put up over a point per game, just like McDavid. We'll take a look at his in-game stats now. So he's actually normally considered a playmaker, but I think everyone would agree Matthews is a sniper, so I actually made that change. Also just to kind of mix up the players a bit more, that way McDavid's a playmaker, Matthews is a sniper. And looking at the stats here, even though McDavid's 5 overall higher, the individual stats are actually pretty close. Like Matthews' hands are almost as good. The shot power is the exact same. McDavid's just a bit more accurate. Offensive awareness, McDavid definitely has the lead, but poison discipline the exact same. In terms of defense, Matthews' awareness is a few points lower, but his face-offs are actually 5 points higher. Shot blocking the exact same. Stick checking a couple lower. Speed, obviously, McDavid does have a big edge there. Matthews is at 89. McDavid's at like 96 with 97 excel and agility. And then physical, it's the same star rating, but Matthews has more strength with slightly higher body checking and a little bit less aggressiveness. So even though McDavid does have that lead in overall, like I was saying, I don't think they're too far off in terms of the player. So we'll see what happens here in the first year, look at their total stats, how the teams do, then we'll swap them and see how they do on each other's teams. So we're going to get into the simulation now. As you can see, Edmonton's 89 overall with McDavid on the team, and Toronto's 91 overall with Matthews on the team. For both simulations, they're going to be Toronto, obviously, once with Matthews, the other time with McDavid, but I'm going to have computer trades turned off. That way, like, there's no changing of the teams, so it's like, you know, the same team around them both times. And for the simulation, guys, are the most authentic settings. So game style there is full sim. Injuries are off, so that doesn't affect it. Like if, you know, Tavares went down or Draisaitl went down. Also, period length 20 minutes, hopefully give us the most realistic stats. And one last thing before we start the sim, I want to give you a look at the lines. As you can see here, Maple Leafs team stats is a contender. I did my best to make the lines as authentic as possible. Obviously, adding Nylander in, I kind of had to guess where he'd like slot in. So I figure Marleau, Matthews will stay on the top line, and then obviously Matthews will get his winger back in Nylander. Second line is the exact same for the Leafs. Third's now Brown, Kadri, Kapanen, and then fourth here is Ennis, Lindholm, and Johnson. Defense, I have the exact same as real life. Same with their first power play unit. I have Nylander coming on the second. I feel like the first power play is playing so well, Babcock probably doesn't change it. Normally the Leafs do better than this in the simulation. Pretty much always a playoff team, often in the Stanley Cup final, if not winning it. Edmonton's more of a wild card. Sometimes they make the playoffs, sometimes they don't. I've seen them finish bottom 5. I've also seen them, I think, make the Stanley Cup final. So they're a team that could go either way. So I'll show you guys their lines. Obviously, because we're controlling Toronto, Edmonton's just going to be like best lines every time. So I think like Matthews will take over McDavid's spot pretty naturally, and they should be the exact same whether McDavid's on the team or Matthews. But I'm just going to give you a quick look at what Edmonton's working with. So The same top 12, I think, as real life, aside from no Yamamoto. Defense is also the same if Sakara was healthy. Also want to show you guys this. Leafs went 7-0 in the preseason. Like I was saying, they always do nasty on this simulation, but we'll see what happens this time. Alright guys, so I just finished through the regular season. As you can see there, Maple Leafs, no surprises, great year. 53, 23, and 6. I actually haven't looked yet to see how Edmonton did, and also like leading scorers. Matthews there, 73 points, 82 games. That'd actually be his best season ever. Maple Leafs there finished with 112 points, winning the division. So I guess we'll first check and see how the Oilers did this year with McDavid, then we'll look at both players' individual stats. If the Oilers aren't in the playoffs, then obviously it doesn't really matter in terms of the team. We know like the Maple Leafs did better than them. So looking through here, I don't see them. Yeah, so the Oilers missed the playoffs, finishing 19th with 84 points. I am curious. Okay, so they have 217 goals for. We have to definitely check now how many points McDavid has and like what percentage of points he was in on. So 217, remember that number. Matthews there at 73. So first we'll check leading scores and see if he shows up. If not, we'll go to Edmonton. Alright, so 84 points. I mean, he's on like about, what was that, 40% or something of Edmonton's points. And he outscored Matthews there by 11. But obviously Matthews and the Leafs are making the playoffs. So we'll see how he does in the playoffs. Maybe he just goes off. Let's see what happens. So the playoffs are now over, and look at this. Toronto Maple Leafs made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Final before losing in 6 to the Dallas Stars. We actually went through like pretty much the 3 toughest teams you can face in the East. Beat the Lightning in 6, the Bruins in 7, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 in the conference final. Stars there went through Chicago, Winnipeg, and Anaheim. Matthews actually was not the leading scorer in the playoffs though. It was Mitch Marner. I think he had like 24 points in 25 games. He did. Matthews though, 20 and 25 isn't too bad. -3 rating. We'd like to see a little better than that from him, but obviously McDavid wasn't even in the playoffs compared to, which kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? We'll take a quick look at the awards. Really, we're just curious to see whether or not McDavid or Matthews has an award here. So Phil Kessel, Art Ross, and Hart. I didn't even notice Kessel in the Hart. That's kind of hilarious. Lady Bing as well. So looking through here, and yeah, Kessel also got Ted Lindsay. So great year for Phil Kessel. But nothing for McDavid or Matthews. And after that season, guys, Matthews went up in overall by 1, now at 90. So we'll see here how much money he wants. $9.8 million. That's actually a lot more than I expected. 6 years there. I mean, in real life, he's going to get at least $10 million. That's how much Eichel's asking. So if we can get him for like 9.5, I feel like that's a pretty, nice deal for us. Also, so Matthews went up in overall by 1. I'm going to show you guys McDavid here, now at 96. So he went up in overall by 2. Honestly, I can't wait to see how good he does on the Leafs. We're now going to go swap them and see what happens. Going to put through the biggest trade of all time now, Connor McDavid for Auston Matthews. I'm sure there'd still be some Leafs fans that say no to this, but I mean, I feel like he'd be crazy. That just looks like so off. Matthews on Edmonton, McDavid on Toronto. Alright, so I'm very curious to see what happens next. I'm going to have all these settings the exact same. We'll sim through the year and kind of just see how they both do on each other's teams. And check this out, guys. Right here is Auston Matthews in an Edmonton Oilers jersey. It definitely looks weird, I'm not going to lie. Already gave him the C as well. It's like they just completely moved on from McDavid. And now we're going to take a look at McDavid on the Maple Leafs. Honestly, I don't think it's going to look too bad, as I think the team he played for before the Erie Otters in the OHL, I don't know if it was like Toronto, Mississauga, whatever, I believe had these colors. And yeah, like that doesn't look too bad. Didn't give him the C though. Babcock, best player in the world. Still won't put the C on him though. Like I was saying, that honestly doesn't look too bad. I know Oilers fans are gonna like hearing that, but who knows? Maybe in 8 years, that might be reality. All right, guys, this is super interesting. So Toronto Maple Leafs with McDavid on the team are still 91 overall. Edmonton with Matthews on the team are now at 90. They're actually higher rated with Matthews than McDavid. I'm not sure why. Like McDavid had better stats across the board, except for like a few individual ones. So I don't know how that works out, but if they make the playoffs with Matthews, I think that'd be kind of crazy. So this is kind of interesting, guys. You know how the Oilers actually went up in overall after trading McDavid for Matthews? No idea how that happened. The Leafs kept their rating, but their team status here is now champion, upgraded from contender. So far it looks like this actually is a trade that benefits both teams. Obviously, we're going to start the sim now, see what happens. I guess I can give you guys a quick look at the Leafs lines too. As you can see here, I'm using McDavid in the exact same role as Matthews, first line center. He's on the point here on the power play. Same goes for Edmonton. I checked, and it looks like Matthews is filling in for McDavid in all his spots. The AI probably just used best line. So we'll simulate it now, see what happens. If they like both make the playoffs, or Edmonton does and Toronto doesn't, that'd be crazy. I can't wait to see the results. Alright guys, so we just finished regular season here. As you can see, record of 47, 29, and 6. So it should be a playoff team. Not sure if we'll also be first again. We're not. Wow, Atlantic just went off. 100 points actually ties with Boston for a wild card. Montreal, Florida both had 101. Tampa 102. Kind of crazy. Tavares here, 73 points. Led the team in scoring, not McDavid. It's very, very interesting. So I guess we'll look at the standings first. See if Matthews could pull Edmonton into a playoff spot. That'd be the most kind of shocking thing, I guess. So we're 6th in the league. And Edmonton still does not make the playoffs, whether they have McDavid or Matthews. They actually did worse, though, with Matthews. Finished tied for last in the league with Carolina there, 71 points. So even though their rating went up, the team did worse with Matthews. So I guess that shows McDavid is better. Let's see here. He had 68 points, though, with the Leafs. So he had less points than he did with Edmonton. Edmonton does worse, though, with Matthews. We'll have to take a look, I guess, and see how many points Matthews put up. So let's go check that right now. I doubt he's top of the league in scoring, but you never know. Yeah, so Matthews here only had 56 points on the Oilers. So it looks like McDavid did better on the Oilers than Matthews did. He also did better on the Leafs than Matthews did. And the Leafs are just a better team, so both times they made the playoffs. And the Oilers did not. And I guess we'll see the playoffs now and see if the Leafs actually win the Cup with McDavid. He actually had a much different year too. 45 assists, 23 goals, so had a lot more assists. Matthews here also had more assists than goals this season. Minus 11 on the Oilers. Like I was saying, we'll just see the playoffs now. See if the Leafs can win the Cup with McDavid. So far, very strange results for the simulation, but the one constant is definitely that Toronto is a better team than Edmonton, no matter, you know, if it's McDavid or Matthews as the first line center.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so the playoffs are now over, and the Leafs were a first round exit. They lost in 6 games to the Lightning. Honestly, I thought adding McDavid to the team, easy Stanley Cup champions. Apparently not, though. Then the Lightning actually lost to Penguins there in the conference final. Penguins won the Stanley Cup. 7 games against the Rangers was really strange. And then after that, never went more than 5 games. Capitals 5 games, Lightning 5 games, swept the Ducks. Dallas again, conference final. I'm surprised that Dallas sims as well as they do. We'll see here how McDavid did in the playoffs. Let's see, 3 points in 6 games. Marlowe there was actually leading scorer. Him and Nylander both put up 4. So McDavid, I don't know, playing for his hometown team, you thought he would just, you know, reach another level. Apparently not. Take a look at the awards here. I don't see either McDavid or Matthews getting anything this year, but you never know. Maybe they get like a Selke. So Jamie Benn had a very, very good year. Capitals as a whole did well. And yeah, Bergeron gets a Selke. So I don't know. I guess like the results, kind of what you expect. The Leafs do better each year. I guess McDavid actually did do better on Edmonton than he did on the Leafs, which is surprising. Matthews did better on the Leafs than Edmonton. I also want to go and check Edmonton's contracts now to see what kind of offer Chiarelli made Matthews. And let's see here, $8.5 million. So actually, he signed with the Edmonton Oilers for $1 million less than he signed with us for. Maybe they just gave him a lower offer and he said yes, but that's kind of interesting too. So at $8.5 million, if you're an Edmonton fan, would you rather Matthews there and you have an extra $4 million left over, or would you rather McDavid? Again, I think, you know, real life statistics speak for themselves, but even in this game, you can see McDavid's definitely the better player. For sure individually, and I guess team player would be like a wash, as McDavid did better on Edmonton, worse on Toronto. Matthews did better on Toronto and worse on Edmonton. Obviously, we're only simming 1 year too, so really anything could happen, but I feel like everyone would kind of agree, even if you're a Leafs fan, McDavid's the best player. He's the best player in the world. Crosby's probably number 2, but once, you know, Crosby gets up there in age, McDavid and Matthews are definitely going to be like kind of the new Crosby versus Ovi, the new 2 best players in the world. But I feel like Matthews is definitely number 2 right now, and probably will end up being number 2 behind McDavid, as there's just something special about McDavid. So even though Matthews is an elite player, McDavid is definitely generational. Besides that, guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the debate that's going on right now. Also, your thoughts on what happened in the video. If you enjoyed this one, leave a thumbs up. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, please do that. Have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.